my name is Lindy Sherries and I used to be a Sangoma. In this channel, I talk about everything, guys. Abokorobela, the secrets that we were taught not to share with you guys, how we used to trick you guys, the spirits, how everything works when you go to a Sangoma for consultation, Yamatambo. So whether you believe in God or don't believe in God, please check out this channel so we can talk about it. If you believe in God, let's share the gospel. If you don't believe in God, you can check out the channel too. I want to hear your opinion and I want people to actually share their opinion, not insulting me without saying why. Thank you, and I'll see you on my channel.
Yeah, and welcome to my channel. My name is Solomon Ezange Shams. So good to have you here. I hope you're doing very well today. How are you? What have you been up to? Let me know where you are, how you're doing and what you've been up to. Let me know where you're watching from. I would love to know where you're watching from. Thank you so much. This comment here saying, good to have you here, my brother Fanta Sanko, all the way from Sierra Leone, Freetown to be precise. My brother Chris, awesome to have you here. Jonathan, all the way from Maiduguri in the far east north of Nigeria. Emmanuel, good to have you here again. Shalom to you also. Emmanuel, you're watching from Australia. Awesome to have you here. Bonjour, Dejuano, watching from Ohio. Sava, Gertrude, good to have you here from the UK, and Mega Worship from the city of Lagos, Nigeria. Awesome to have each and every one of you here. Appreciate you. Please make sure you go subscribe right now. Go subscribe. And that's important. Please go and subscribe. That's very, very important. And one thing also, I've been having a case with Alf Lukau. As you guys know, I went to prison for standing for truth against him. But now they're after me. They said I have to pay about over 200,000 rand, the legal cost. This is like over 1 year later. So we've been in court for a couple of months now trying to sort that out. At the end of the day, it's just money, isn't it? So I believe that God would help me raise the money if the court says I should pay. You can't punish a believer because of money. You can do whatever it takes, but God is on our side, the side of truth. So Alf Lukau he's not restless. He's trying to get me whichever way. When I came out of prison, he thought I was going to keep quiet, but I refused to be quiet. Now he took this issue to court again and said, no, I need to pay his legal fee and all that kind of stuff, which is quite a lot of money that I do not have. But the God that started this with me, with us, will be there with each and every part of the way. So please pray with me. And also, this is just something that is just destructive and something that is just, they're looking for ways to frustrate what we are doing, So that's just the way that it is. But at least we don't hear about Alf Lukau anymore, isn't it? At least when he speaks now, people don't believe him anymore. And that's the whole idea, to get him to that place, to get all these false prophets and charlatans to that place. Anyway, back to the topic today. We're looking at false prophet Shepherd Bushiri. We all know him, the Malawian false prophet. In the last 20, 30 years, he is the most prominent and deceptive false prophet to ever come out of Africa. Was based here in South Africa, got into trouble with fraud and money laundering. He was arrested with his wife, spent 2 weeks in prison, got bailed, and ran away from South Africa. There are other charges that young girls have brought against him, and he ran away from South Africa, jumped bail, and he went to Malawi, now telling people that he's been persecuted and all that kind of stuff, right? So it is important for us to know what he is doing. It is important for us to understand what Bushiri has been up to, right? Bushiri has been up to quite a lot, right? Bushiri has been up to quite a lot. And sometimes we look at these people and we ask ourselves, what are they been up to? What is their intention? What is their intention? And that's the whole thing, right? That's the whole thing. You see, I told people that Bushiri is never, ever gonna go to prison. Bushiri would never, ever go to prison. And people thought, no, Solomon, you're joking. But I'm not joking. I wasn't joking. And I can, there's no joke in it. Because the moment he stepped out of South Africa, he totally became something different. The moment he got into Malawi, he knew that he needed to go into Malawi. Because once he steps into Malawi, Malawi is a country where he is like a hero, a lord over Malawi. So he could do whatever it takes. He could bribe judges, he could bribe police, he could bribe everybody, he could get a top lawyer. And even when he stepped in Malawi, the South African authorities now reached out to their Malawian counterparts and said, look, hey, this man committed some criminal offense in our country. And you need to charge him in Malawian court, or we need to start a process of getting him repatriated back to South Africa to face these charges. Over 100 million rand. There are girls that he did stuff to sexually that is just not right. So he went to court over and over again. First, they said no. His lawyers and his attorney said no. These are all charges that are not true. If he was victimized in South Africa, he was picked upon by authorities. That if these stories are true, then the witnesses need to come to Malawi and testify against him. He knows that that's not a possibility. Matter of fact, there's a friend of mine, a journalist with a local newspaper then called City Press. She went to Malawi to investigate just how Bushiri came up, people that he knows and friends and people that had relationship with him to interview them and all that. At the airport, she was arrested, dehumanized, put in the cell in at the airport, and then deported back. They didn't even get into Malawi. Just to tell you how much powerful Bushiri is. And trust me, no South African witness will go down to Malawi to go and testify. First, they're afraid for their lives. Secondly, they're going to be threatened from the airport over and over again. So he knows there's no possibility of that. The lower court in Malawi said, no, they can testify virtually. They can testify online. But Bushiri and his attorneys pushed and said, no, they cannot testify online. They took it to the High Court. And this is the ruling of the High Court this week, where the Judge Bruno McDonald Kalemba says the witnesses to the extradition hearing will testify physically in the presence of the chief resident magistrate here in Malawi on a date and time to be appointed by the court. So here, the judge of the High Court is insisting, no, they need to testify physically for Bushiri to be extradited back to South Africa. So he's going to face all these charges. Because the witnesses need to appear before the judge and actually say, this is what he did, this is what he did, this is why he needs to be repatriated, this is it, and all that. So now he's saying, no, they need to come to Malawi and appear physically. Remember, the lower court had said, no, they can do it virtually online. But now, this judge is saying no. And that's what Bushiri has been looking for. And that's what he's going to hold on to. And guys, let me tell you this. This is the beginning of the steps in him walking scot-free and staying in Malawi with no hassle. Then never going to come to South Africa. Never going to get him. Though South Africa and Malawi has a diplomatic relationship where they say actually if in a case like Bushiri's being in Malawi and refusing to come here to face the charges against him, the court in Malawi, a judge can appoint another local South African judge in a court in South Africa to get all the evidences, the witnesses to go to a South African court in South Africa, testified. Bushiri's lawyers will be here to cross-examine them and then get all the details and send it over to the judge in Malawi. So the judge in Malawi can now make a ruling, but they refuse to look at that option. So we're looking at a situation where there's going to be some sort of diplomatic problem between the two countries. And is Malawi ready to get into a diplomatic problem between South Africa and themselves because of Bushiri? He is powerful. And you see that the technicalities of the issue is what Bushiri is going to use to make sure that he gets away with it. This has been going on for almost 3 years now. Before you know it, it's going to be 5 years, it's going to be 8 years and 10 years. And Bushiri still in Malawi doing his scam, inviting people over, building his fake, deceptive Goshen city. Because he is building something like TB Joshua did. But because he walked free doesn't mean he's not guilty. Because you went to court and got a victory doesn't mean you're not guilty. God knows, heaven knows the atrocities that these guys commit every single time. So guys, like I told you, let's not be naive. These guys are scammers and they can scam and protect themselves in every situation. And there's nothing the victims can do about it. That's why one of the major ways that we can really de-weaponize these people is to expose their deeds, expose their deception through people, eyewitnesses, people with evidences, through scriptures and everything. That's the way to weaken their influence, just like Alf Lukau. Guys, Bushiri, this is the beginning of him walking free. He got a bit of victory. So is Bushiri 1, South Africa 0. That's just the case right now. Thank you so much for watching. God bless you. Please make sure you subscribe. Shalom.